a special meeting at 10:30 to 6 a.m. and thank councillors for their attendance. Do we have any conflicts of interest? Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, can I, just before you go to conflicts of interest, just for clarity, can you explain as to the role the deputations are having as part of today's meeting?
We're going to adjourn and then hear from different groups, and then we'll recommence and continue with the special meeting. And
what is your intent of bringing back from those deputations to the special meeting?
Well, all councillors will hear from the deputations, and it may inform our way to move forward with the special meeting.
So just on that then, if you're going to go out of a special meeting and it's just a deputation, am I allowed to stay for that?
Oh, well, it just depends if you believe you've got a...
Well, I'm going to state a conflict of interest in the special meeting, but if you're not in the meeting, will it just be a normal briefing? Well, I don't know the answer.
Well, it really is up to yourself to decide that. But to me, I declare a conflict, and then when we adjourn,
I just don't know what they're going to talk about to know whether I'll have a conflict or not.
You can only declare conflicts that are on the agenda.
Well, it depends if you've got any conflict with what's on the agenda report.
Well, it's just a consideration of the future strategic direction.
Productivity improvements, telecommunication, connectivity improvements and competition. So it's really up to yourself.
Could Wendy declare a perceived conflict and we make a decision and it's something that she could go, oh my goodness, she could hop up and walk out?
My question though is that we're not in a meeting.
No.
Yeah.
We're leaving the meeting for a deputation. We had a deputation yesterday. We were all in it whether Joe was out. Okay, so that's what the difference is?
And it's up to yourself. But to me, I declare it and then manage it.
Sorry.
But further, before we get into the declarations, I mean, I've got to be clearer. If I have a conflict with one of the deputations, but it's not on the agenda, but then you're saying that that deputation could end up on the agenda.
Well, the deputation won't, but like, this is strategic direction of run say, so this is what really will be up to individual councillors to work out, if they believe they have a conflict. But
we don't know what they're going to say, so how do you declare a conflict?
Well, it's up to yourself whether you do declare a conflict or not. And at any meeting, it will be something that someone says, hang on, we've had that before, we go, well, hang on, that means I've got a conflict. That.
At ordinary meetings and special meetings, yes.
So it's really up to councillors to work out whether they would like to declare a conflict of interest or legal.
But then are the deputations part of the meeting?
No, they're not part of it.
Yet they're going to inform the meeting.
We're going to hear from the users, definitely, stakeholders, and you have a conflict, you have to make that mind up which way you want to go with it.
I don't have a conflict on the items that you've tabled for the meeting, which is item 4.1. I have a conflict with one of the deputations, and from what I'm gleaning from you, what they say in that deputation could in fact end up on the agenda.
It could be, yes. Well, more from a strategic point of view, it could. So, unless you want legal conflicts till later, that's up to you.
But I don't know how I can declare a conflict on a deputation that's forming part of a special meeting, because the outcome of the conflict is I'll be dealing with this matter by leaving the room. The matter is discussed and voted upon, but I may not have to on item 4.1, but I have to because of that deputation is forming part of the special meeting.
Well, you
that
also
actually
got to
makes
look
sense.
at how broad it is, and it's up to individual councillors. Like productivity improvements is very broad. It could be to do with transport association. It would be to do with all sorts of things. I think it's up to individual councillors, like it always is.
But we've got a meeting here that's an allocated time of 10:30, and then we have in our diaries a formal tabling of deputations at the same time the special meeting is happening. I just don't know how I can navigate declaring that interest and then declaring that I'll have to be out of the room for the entire matter of 4.1. Would it be better if they were actually listed on the agenda and then we can declare on the agenda that matter?
I'm just trying to think it through. It's almost like there needs to be two separate special meetings, because ordinarily we can only talk about what's on the agenda at a particular special meeting, and today it's productivity improvements, connectivity improvements competition. So it might actually be cleaner to finish this meeting, have your deputations, and then redefine what the agenda is for the next part of the meeting, because then councillors can actually have some certainty about what those conflicts are.
I think we need to hear from people. I don't see the issue. I don't mind, and I understand that you need to. But I would be declaring the conflict. I think you said it the other day what the conflict is, and if it rares.
I've no problem in declaring a conflict. I'm very clear in what I need to do in declaring conflict. It's what the action of declaring that conflict is on the matter that's tabled. Because I'll declare this interest and I have the option of either declaring a conflict of interest and staying in the room, or declaring and putting it to the council, or declaring an interest and leaving the room. The second option, which is the option of putting it to the meeting, I don't think is appropriate because this is my wife. Therefore, I'll declare a conflict of interest and I will leave the room. But then I'm out for the entire of 4.1 because I can only declare interest on matters that are tabled as part of the agenda.
Well, what happens if we break it up into different points and deal with them separately when we go to that productivity improvements? Can we break them up into different points?
That's what I'm thinking, is that the agenda needs to be defined to allow councillors to be clear about what those conflicts are.
I'm happy to declare and I'm happy to go, but you just need to tell me when, because I don't know if someone's going to say AAM, and that's my conflict, is that Kylie works for AAM, so how do I know they're going to talk about AAM? That's my problem.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and that does, it's happened with councillors before when discussion goes on. And I think in some of these, the dedications are simple because there might be, very simple to understand which the dedication is about, and others may not be.
But then are the deputations part of the meeting?
I don't know, sort of, I understand we're adjourning the meeting and then listening to deputations or hearing from people.
I understand I do understand what the problem is, because you don't need to be out for the whole lot. You don't need to be, it's just a portion of it because it's not listed.
I don't know, because someone might just happen to say, well, there's a problem with the contractor, so then I've got to scoot out because that wasn't what they were started off saying.
But you can only
declare
what's on here, and you have to either leave fully or not leave. There is no in between because it's about 4.1.
That's right.
It's not about the breakdown.
All the other thing is it's a deputation, which I was here for the first briefing that they had, and they mentioned AAM, but we didn't know they were going to mention AAM, so
I think you'd be right for the deputation, I think. I think you'd be right for the deputation.
Well, no, because if they mention 8 AM,
And that's
Well,
my
Joe wasn't
point,
here
councillor
yesterday
Burkett,
because of,
because we've got a
8
special meeting now, we'll be adjourning the special meeting for the specific task of meeting with the deputations that have been tabled in our diary. They are part of the meeting.
Yeah, it's just a lot for a what if.
The deputations are then influencing the agenda of the special meeting. That's the problem. Because at this moment, council doesn't have certainty about the items that it's discussing.
so we're better off just declaring and staying out of the room for the whole thing.
And then we lose.
You tell me.
Can we-
And then I'll go then too.
Well, that it sort of defeats the purpose of we lose 3 councillors.
Well, that's the way it works normally, so that's what happens, you leave the room.
And in the past where we've lost 5 councillors and we couldn't continue with the meeting, or with the
What's the
resolution.
difference? I can't see.
Well, we did the parking. down
Because there's
CBD,
the difference
we had
here,
to
councillor Edwards, is we're dealing with hypotheticals and what ifs,
Yeah,
because we have to declare what's on the agenda.
Well, I think you've just got to make your own answer.
Or we can work as a team and try and negotiate an agenda that makes it a bit more inclusive for as much as possible, and removing when the conflicts are there.
Can I just ask, can you change, can we legally change this agenda now?
Well, that's what I was going to wonder, whether we could have the briefings first and then add to this.
No, we can't change the topics of the special meeting. We can only talk about what is actually listed for that. So it would be far cleaner for us to conclude this meeting, have the deputations, and then decide what that agenda is for the next meeting. Because then that gives councillors clarity about what interest that they have to declare. But it's important that that agenda is in sufficient detail to be able to make informed decisions.
that still won't help these councillors with the conflict of interest, will it?
It will be if we conclude this meeting.
Yeah, and then but if they sit in on the deputation, they will still have a conflict of interest then for the second special meeting.
If for the purpose of this particular...
That's right.
Yeah, that's right, that's one.
But then you'd know what's on that agenda to declare.
Yeah.
But you've got to almost define the actual thing that you're going to walk out on.
Ordinarily, what happens with
And put that in the agenda. I mean, that's what you've got to do.
ordinarily what happens as part of a meeting is that there is a listed agenda of topics that are being discussed, specific topics. There's a report, with recommendations. Councillors can consider that report and recommendations, and then when it comes time to the decision making, they make their declarations of conflicts of interest. However, this is just a broad discussion which is not in sufficient detail for councillors to make those determinations. So perhaps what is the best outcome is that the 2 councillors, for transparency, make a note, declare their concerns, and that potentially Mr Mayor as Chair, once those declarations are made, advise of your intentions, that potentially if those topics come up that you intend to leave the room for those matters, that we can then conclude the meeting, and then councillors collectively determine what the agenda is for the next meeting.
How long does it take to set it up on the website for another meeting?
That can happen quite quickly, Mr Mayor, but I think there needs to be a bit more detail about what those topics are.
So effectively, we're just going to open this meeting and close it because we've got nothing.
Declare the conflicts because...
Declare them in this meeting.
I think declare the concerns, because then we're being transparent about what the 2 councillors have raised.
There's three possible conflicts.
Okay.
So you'd open it, declare you have opened it, we're in,
Yeah, we just opened it.
Declare the conflicts, the Mayor would call item 4.1, and I would assume there would be a resolution to move that this lay on the table to the next meeting of council.
To a subsequent meeting of the council.
Yeah.
And then, is there anything here, Mr Mayor, that you would like to cover first prior to the deputations?
No, definitely not. No, it's all after, you know, we want to cover. So if we can have another.
And then I guess the question is, any not dependent on the deputations?
Any not dependent on the deputations.
Like for instance, the connectivity, because we've got the manager of ICT here.
We need the agent for that. Well, they've got.
No, I think it's all dependent.
It's all dependent.
Well, they've got some ideas about different suppliers, companies, or what programs or something.
So a suggestion, Mr Mayor, just to try and give a little bit more clarity that we don't come back to a special meeting, we're sitting around here still trying to work out what we're going to do to help manage the conflicts. Can we have a breakdown? Obviously, we're going to listen to what a group says and we're going to have some sort of resolution with that. So whether that is note the discussion or something else that might come out, but I think we're obviously going to do that after each deputation. I think if we could break down something after each deputation, then at least the councils with the conflicts can get out, well, that matter is being spoken about.
That's a really good idea.
I think that's what we need to do.
The thing is, there's a 99.99% chance the same subject is going to come up in 3 different meetings. So in some cases, Councillor Taylor will possibly have a conflict on the lot because she's concerned she doesn't know what the people are going to say.
So I suppose that's the thing with the deputation. If it was just an advisory group meeting, we could all listen, and then we could go, I can feel, I know what's going to come out. I've got a feeling of what's going to be. So then you can be clear to go, yeah, I need to be out of the room for that. It's that you don't know.
It's not in a meeting and it's a deputation. I can sit and listen, and then when you decide to act on it, I can move out. Is that what you're saying?
Do we have the list of the deputations that are coming in?
Yeah, we got
This morning.
Sale Yards Advisory Committee, former Sale Yards, and then straight after the Livestock Rural Transporters, and then after that we've got the agents.
Sorry?
The agents, that's the last one that finishes the quarter one.
Okay, so perhaps we deal with the conflicts in that particular order.
Where's that, Councillor?
On the diary.
Well, in the email we got different order in the email earlier.
This is the.
I don't know if that means anything, Kelly.
That was just a list.
Okay.
So the diary one's right.
Yeah, because that's
The diary is.
Okay.
Yeah. So 10:45, 11:30 is the former Sale Yards Advisory, and then at 11:30 we've got livestock transport.
So for instance, if we played in that order, the first one is the former advisory committee members. So would any councillors have any conflicts with that particular matter?
Why can't we just add to this agenda? We've done that in other meetings.
Not mid-meeting, sorry, not in a special meeting.
Oh, okay, fine.
But a new special meeting would be half an hour to get it organised on the website. So we can
be having the deputations while the special meeting.
Yeah.
We can have the deputations while the special meeting is being advertised. Is that correct?
Well, no, sorry, if I've heard this correctly, the deputations will inform the agenda items for the second meeting.
And that's where the conflicts will arise. There won't be any conflicts here. Well, for me, I have no conflicts on item 4.1. If you're opening the meeting, moving that it goes to a subsequent meeting and closing the meeting, I will on the deputation. I'll leave for that. I'll be comfortable. You don't have to, but I'll be comfortable to do that. Then if that deputation informs the next special meeting, I'll know what conflicts I have to declare on that next meeting.
So what I'm proposing is that we will finish this one up, hear from the deputations, and then have at the end a special meeting, a new special meeting with the concerns raised on specific topics, and we'll incorporate this as well. So, do we have anyone with any conflicts of interest?
Well, the three deputations, so the former Saliards
Just hang
advisory.
on. If we're not going to go ahead with this meeting for this reason, they wouldn't be have any conflicts here because we're not discussing anything. There's no conflicts until the next meeting comes up.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hearing if we're not going to do this now, it's just, I don't know.
We have advertised to go ahead with this meeting,
Yeah.
so I think for the purpose of the minutes, there needs to be clarity about why we're not.
Is that what you say, and concerns, not?
Well,
Okay, but that's not asking, just saying something like, some councillors may have conflicts of interest, so we'll refer it to another meeting.
Yeah, so I think we need to foreshadow that there are three deputations that are intended to occur during the meeting. Well, was originally intended to occur while the meeting was adjourned. However, this has created some issues for councillors to ascertain what conflicts of interest may exist.
aren't we just going to move a resolution till later on the table?
But I think CA's got a good point. We'll inform, if people read the minutes, they can inform, you know, why we did what we did.
Yeah, that the agenda wasn't in sufficient detail to enable councillors to fulfil their obligations with respect to declarations of conflicts of interest, and therefore all matters will be laid on the table until such time as agenda can be detailed. An agenda can be provided in sufficient detail to enable those declarations to occur.
And Mayor, to Councillor Hancock's point, the agenda for the special meeting that will occur this afternoon, if it can reflect the three different deputations and the issues that arose and what the steps are out of that, that will be clearer for the ability to declare conflicts.
And then we can break it down if we've got to deal with it separately, we can.
Yes, and so we're almost then forming an agenda based on those three deputations. This is what you're saying, Councillor.
And I think that's the Mayor's intent. You want to hear from the people and then you want to get some actions out of it.
Well, definitely, but also some other issues, so, you know, will be that plus some other issues, but I'm happy with that, and that will help with the conflicts, which I think is a good idea. Okay, do we have...
I don't want to be rude or insult anyone in the room, but I thought we were told there was to be no public in a special meeting. They had to wait till we adjourned to come in. And I'm not having to go at the people that here, but that's what we were told we couldn't.
A special meeting is an open meeting of council. We haven't closed the meeting, and so we had a gallery yesterday at the ordinary meeting. That special budget meeting. We had a gallery.
Okay, I thought we were told the other day that we couldn't have public speak at a...
It might be speak, it might be the word
okay,
speak.
that might be, sorry. Yeah.
Like you can't have a deputation, maybe.
So all the others could have been in here.
Yeah.
We close. Remember the particular reason, Councillor McMullen, that council can close the meeting to the public to discuss matters that are confidential, and then council reopens the meeting, etc.
Right, anyway, right, do we have any conflicts that you'd like to declare?
Not doing the conflicts there.
You're happy to leave it, and we'll just have that wording on there. And then, so obviously someone would have to move to lay on the table, is that suggesting?
No, I'll move it later on the table and because it's later in the day.
No,
to a subsequent meeting.
Which will be a day, yeah.
Why would you say?
So the Mayor's going to close the meeting.
Oh, to a subsequent meeting, rather.
And also, you can't foreshadow whether it's appropriate to make decisions my understanding is that you want to hear from the deputations first to inform the agenda for this next meeting and whether it's practical to make those decisions at that point.
Can I just think I saw a bit of a typo, budget up the top. It'll just be untidied up.
This isn't finalised.
Righto, so we've got a move to lay it on the table. All those in favour? 9-0. Okay, if there's no further business, I'll close the meeting at 11:02 AM and thank you for your attendance.